Hey guys, how you doing? This is Tim from 313, and today I am just going over just kind of sifting through a football card collection which I had bought a while back, and I've just now got to them. There was baseball. It was mostly baseball. I've already went through all that, and you've probably seen a lot of those already. But I had some hockey, and I pulled out all the ones that I thought were candidates to be Gem 10 9 to 10s. At least Gem 10 candidates. When you get back to the older football, especially like 69s and that, you're kind of looking for at least 8s. I see a lot of them sell. Of course, they're looking for 10s, but they're really, really hard to find, especially in the 69s, especially the no borders. But I'll just kind of show you what I did find in here and how I'm going about looking at these cards and what to look for when you're looking for them. Now, these were some that I found. This is a 1963 Joe Fortunato. It's off center a little bit, but not too bad. It's something that I'm probably just going to keep. It's the back of it there, but 63 football cards, a little before my time. I was 1 year old, so. But and then this Joe Marconi from 63. It's pretty good centered. A little white showing on the corners, though. But, those are some that I can just hang on to and think about for a while. Here's a Jimmy Orr, which was Unitas's and Earl Morrall's favorite. One of his favorite targets for sure. But as you can see, that is cut off center. But that's a pretty neat card. And then also Hugh McElhenney, who was just a really good halfback for a few different teams back in his day, I don't know much about him. Here's a Nick Bonacani rookie card that I found. A little bit off center, but still pretty sharp. It's not bad. Maybe a little faded, maybe a little bit on the back there. Not bad, but it is a rookie card. And then you got Bill George, who was just a incredible linebacker for back there with Doug Atkinson back in the early 60s. Those guys were feared. But that's a pretty cool card to have. So, like I said, it's kind of off center, and there wasn't very many of these, so I just kind of sleeved them up and put them away. But anyways, I had some Battlestar Galactica cards that I was thinking about sending. I pulled out all the Gem 10 candidates, and there were quite a few. Plus, there was some 75 hockey cards that looked really good too, and I found quite a few of those. As you can see, I got all the hockey stuff in there from 72, 73, and 74, 75. Even some 72s in there that looked really good. So I'm gonna, those are all candidates. Now, I pulled this Otis Taylor, which has real nice sharp corners. It is off center a little bit, but it is a 73, I believe. Yeah, 73 Topps card, in really good condition. So those usually, even if they're just commons, can sell pretty high to the right collector if you can get a Gem 10 mint. That's obviously not, but usually you can get away with usually an 8 or even a 7 on some of these, maybe lower, but it just depends. That is the surface of the card is perfect, and that's what I look at first to make sure the surface of the card. There's a Chuck Foreman rookie, which I've got a couple of those in there. This one I'm probably not going to send in, just mainly because the surface is not that great. But here's just mainly some commons, but they're really good shape. Not perfectly centered, but you will find a few. But these are candidates. I will go through them all again to make sure, because I'm going to send in probably 50 at a time. the first go around, but I've already pulled out, and we'll get to them. I pulled out most of the stars like Fran Tarkenton and guys like that. But there's Billy Kilmer that's off center, but in really good shape. And here's Matt Snell, which is about as close to perfect as you can get. I mean, that's just really well centered card, and that's definitely going to get sent in. This George Sauer, of course, was a star player, and off center, but corners are all sharp. The surface is great, and then some of these kind of commons here, they're just really good shape. So these are going to be considered to be sent in to get graded. Ernie Wright, Homer Jones. This one's a little bit off center, but it was in really great shape. 69s were a great set. Now these were, I believe, the second series, because they have the white borders on them. The first series had no borders. I did have a few of those, but those were really hard to find in any kind of good shape. There's another pretty good shape card there. A little bit, maybe just slightly off. But you can get away with at least getting them certified and maybe 7 or 8. There's Dave Williams. He's just a common, but a really, really nice shape card. Same with this. Same with him. But like I said, I pulled out all the 69s. I'm just freehanding it right now, just to make it a little simpler for me. There's Gary Philbin. There's Larry Stallings. That is a really excellent card there. I did find a Franco Harris, which is in really good shape and well centered, so that one's definitely a candidate. I found a Too Tall Jones rookie. It does have a little damage down there on that right corner down there, so I'm not sure if I'll send that in or not. Here's the No Borders first series. That's a Bob Lilly there. The corners are a little rough. It's really hard to find any of these in really good shape, just because they are no borders. But here's my other Chuck Foreman rookie, and this one is a really pristine. Maybe that top right corner has just a little bit of some fuzz on it. Not perfectly centered, but real close. It's definitely a candidate. I got an OJ. Not too bad. I got a little ding on the top, but it's a pretty good centered card. A little bit off on the left side, but and Bubba Smith rookie card, centered really well. Corners are okay. I mean, they're not totally sharp, but that one might be worth sending in. This Fran Tarkenton looks pretty good too. With the Giants, a little top to bottom there, but it might be worth sending in. The Alan Page rookie, corners are nice on this. It's just the little bit of the centering problem there. And I got a 74 Archie Manning, a little bit off, but not a bad card. These are just some of the stars I pulled out. Kenny Anderson rookie card, and that one looks pretty good. Lenny Dawson, just a little bit of centering issues, but those I pulled out and sleeved up right away because I didn't want them to get any more damage than what they already have. As you can see, I got a bunch of 1970 cards there, some 71s, which are very hard to find in gem mint condition. A lot of, especially 10s. You're not going to find a whole lot of 10s, and if you do, they're going to be high dollars. And you've got some 72s, some 73s there. I got some good cards there. 74s, I've got a lot of really good cards there. There's some that I have sleeved up already that were from the game that I have. And I have these here. I think they're 75s. A lot of them are hit pretty hard. I didn't see a whole lot of those that look pretty good, so they got played around with or something. Plus, I got a bunch of these little mini cards They were already separated, but some of them are in pretty good shape, and there is a few stars in there. But I just wanted to go over with it to show you what I kind of look for. If you look in the light, see the surface of this card is just absolutely perfect. There's nothing that you can see as you follow the light around. There's no dings or dang or anything. Now the centering is not bad on this one. And the corners, as you can see, they're a little bit aware, but they're still kind of sharp. So that's definitely gonna be a candidate to go in. I even look at the common cards too. Now this one's a little off, but it's a very sharp card. Now let's take a look at the surface. The surface looks really good all the way across. Maybe a little bit of wax up there. No, it's not bad. It's not bad. So, and then you look at the back of the card too, just to make sure there's no writing or anything like that on there. And it looks pretty good. Plus the scratch off part isn't scratched off. But this card looks pretty good. It could be a candidate. And I'll get these at least sorted out to where I can fine tune it. I'll come down and make a final decision before I send it out. Now see, that one has a little bit of crease right there on the surface there. The corners don't look bad, but I'll say no just because of that little crease there on the card. So I usually go for the surface first. The surface has to be really good. And then we'll go with this one here, this Hoyle Granger. As you can see, there's a crease on the bottom right across there. If you can see it. Otherwise, that was a pretty decent centered card. Would have been pretty decent, but that's going to be a no. Now you've got Ron McDowell, a pretty good defensive end. And we're looking for surface damage on this right now. And doesn't look bad there. A little bit on the bottom, there's a little bit of some scuff in there that I see. But the rest of it, yeah, I can see some lines. As you can see, there's some creases all along the left. So that's going to be a no. It looked pretty good from the start, but now this one, it looks like it's got a dark spot on the left side there. But other than that, it's got a crease in the corner on the right. So that's going to be a no. Now, this takes a lot of time to do, but it's really worth it because if you get a Gem 10 mint or even a 9 or an 8, you can get some good return on your investment. Now, I paid very little for these cards. I don't want to tell you because you guys will get upset and go, where'd you find that deal? But here's another card. Looks good, Levias, except for that little bottom part right there. Let's see where my finger is, where I'm pointing right there. Seems like there's a little bit of a tiny scuff there. So otherwise the surface looks really good, except it is kind of miscut. Jerry Levias, good player, had some good years. 42 catches for almost 700 yards in 1969. But I'm going to have to pass on that just because of that little scuff there, because that'll take it down at least a full grade. And here's Bobby Maples. Really good center for a lot of years. Got a little bit of a line that you can see up there at the top. Other than that, it looks really good. I might be able to get away with that. The centering is off a little bit. The corners are pretty good. I'll take a second look at that. Maybe give her a try. Here's Jim Burney. Good wide receiver for him back in the day. This is a little before most of you guys' time, but I'll tell you what. These guys were some good, tough players, man. And Jim Burney was a really excellent wide receiver. Now, this looks like they have a little bit of a scuff up top, but not bad. I'm going to take a look at the back now. As you can see, it is a little miscut there, but usually you can get away with that. It'll knock it down usually a grade. Like I said, what I'm looking for is anything from 7 to 8 to 9. You'll very rarely ever find a Gem 10 out of 1970 cards, and if you do, they're worth big money. This one is centered perfectly, other than top to bottom. It's a little bit off, but that's the thing with these Topps cards. You know, they were cut, a lot of them were cut in sheets, some of them by hand or with a machine, and they weren't always lined up. And this card looks pretty good, though. Let's take a look at the back. It's got one little dot down there, but I don't think that's much. The back looks good. There's no heavy wax or anything like that. I'm going to take a second look at that. So that'll go in the good pile. I have another one right behind it, and it's cut even worse. But that's got a little damage on the top, as you can see. There's a kind of a bad corner there. And I'm going to say no on that one. Just got a little too much going on with it. There's Haven Moses. Another absolutely stellar wide receiver for the Bills. I can still remember him getting hit by Jack Tatum from the Raiders, and I shudder every time I see it. Look up Fantastic Hits or look up Jack Tatum, and they show it. Look up the Haven Moses hit from Jack Tatum. Look it up. There's a little bit of a weird line up top, but it's barely noticeable. This is a good looking card here. Even the centering looks really good. Let's take a look at the back. The corners are sharp on this thing. Just a very good card. That is a definite take a look at there. Larry Stallings. I'm looking at corners first. Let's go for the surface. I see a crease right there, as you can see. So I'm going to say no on that one. Here's Leroy Kelly. Here's get into some star players now. What a great running back. If he's not in the Hall yet, I think he should be. He had a lot of good years, especially in tough football games. And the weather they used to play in was ridiculous sometimes. But there's a little bit going on down there, but you know what? I think I'm going to give him a try. It's not perfectly centered, but it's really not bad. So I will give it a shot. Now we got Sonny Jurgensen, and I believe he's a Hall of Famer. And this card's miscut, but it's just a little... The surface looks really good, though. I'm going to give that one a shot, too, just because he's a big name. Oh, here's a Daryl LaMonica, and too bad. That card has got a lot of wax on it. This thing was coated with wax, as you could see. And after a while, it just really dulls up the card. So it's a shame, but that'll just stick around my house. Daryl LaMonica was a great quarterback. I'm not sure if he's in the Hall, but he should be. I need to look up the Hall of Fame. I can't remember who's in there and who's not anymore. Jan Stenerud, I know, is in the Hall, and there's a lot of wax problems there, so that's a no. You got Larry Brown, another great running back for the Redskins, and there's some wax problem there and some miscut there. Looks like a stain up at the top. Just not, I mean, it's not bad, but I'm going to just have to say no on that. Now here's Otis Taylor. Let's see what's going on with this. This one looks pretty good. Surface looks really good. Got one little ding right there, and that is noticeable. I see that. And it's miscut pretty bad. And this corner looks good, though. I'm going to take a second look at that one later. Now we got Bill Berge, who was just an awesome middle linebacker. And other than being off center, the card looks great. One little tiny little bubble there, but I'm going to take a second look at that one. That one looks great. And there's Alvin Bethea rookie card. This one's got Little bit of a problem up there, but not bad. And there's one down here. I'm going to have to pass on that. It's got a bad corner. Too bad about that one. Here's a Bill Brown, who's another great running back for the Vikings before they got, well, Paul Krause, before they got Chuck Foreman. But yeah, that's got all kinds of wax problems with that one. This Dave Lloyd is really hit with wax. Kruger's hit with wax. Lynn Haas, all-pro center, that's waxed up. Emerson Boozer, let's take a look at this one. That one looks really good other than the cut job. I was kind of really hoping to get some well-centered cards, but it's so hard to find them. Really hard to find them. That's why they cost so much. Here's a Chuck Hinton, and this card looks great on the surface, but I'm going to have to, the cut on that is pretty bad. I'm going to have to say no on that one. This Jack Pardee has got wax problems. This Jim Lynch has got wax problems. Bill Thompson's got paper loss. Gene Washington later went to the Broncos. Was a great wide receiver with the Vikings. This card looks really good. I think we're going to give this a second look. There's a better centered card there, and that's Gary Garrison. That's Walt Garrison's brother. There's a little dot down there in the bottom. Let's look at the surface a little better here. It looks really good. I'm definitely going to give that a second look. It's got a couple of the corners look a little funny, but not bad for a 1970 card. And we got Ed Wysokowski. The surface is rough on that one. You can see it's dinged up there. And it's off center a little bit, so I'm going to pass on that one. Here's a George Webster, and that looks pretty good. It's off center just a little from top to bottom and left to right, but you know, the surface looks really good. One corner up top doesn't look as sharp as the others, and we got a rough edge down at the bottom. But man, that surface looks perfect. It could be just the way it was cut, but I'm going to take a second look at that one anyway. Here's another Jim Burney, and this one looks really good. This one looks better than the first one. That's a definite keeper there. Then we got Dave Rowe. I'm just going to go through this stack and just kind of show you guys what I'm looking for. There's a little bit of looks like a curl down there at the end. I don't know if you can see that. But this one's not bad. It's not bad. See if we got any problems on the back. Corners look really good. One corner down there, as you can see, it's curled in a little bit, but that's not too bad. That's worth a second look. And there is Jim Otto. This guy played for a lot of years. And he's had, I believe he said he had like 13 operations on his knees. And I believe he's in a wheelchair now, but Jim Otto, great center for a long time, all-pro center. That one's miscut, but the surface looks great. I'm going to take a look at that one. Ron McDowell, that one's miscut. It's too far into the picture. I'm going to say no. This Lance Rensel looks really good. It looks good. The centering on it looks pretty good, just a little bit off. That looks really good. Definitely going to take a look at that one. I'll tell you what, going to, let me see what else I can find here. I believe I showed you most of the star cards, yeah. There is a few more in here, though, too, but I think I'm going to stop right there and just kind of show you what to look for when you're dealing with these older cards. And like I said, they're not all going to be winners. But once I get done with them, I'll show you what I'm going to send in and why, and how much it's going to cost me to send in. I'm going to send in 50 at a time because that's your best deal. You get a lot free. Plus, you can get them at $10 per card. So you got to make sure the cards are going to be worth that. So, you know, if a card's only going to be worth $5 or $6 at a Gem 10 mint, which is usually not the case, then it's not really worth sending in. But you got a couple of good star cards like that do come back as a Gem 10 mint. They can make the whole thing worthwhile if it sells for a couple $100 or something, or even more. Now, I do have some Star Wars cards, too, that I need to go through, and plus a lot of these I'm going to go through. But I'm going to just, you know, I'll be back here tomorrow, and we'll go through some more, and we'll see what we can find. And you can take the journey with me, and we'll see what we can pull out of here. I know there's a lot more stars and some good cards in here yet that I haven't got to. The 71s worry me because there's a lot of white showing on them. But there's some really good players in here. I might be able to get away with some. I don't know. Even that. I mean, they're just so hard to find in good condition. But the 70s I did really good on. And it looks like the 74s, probably 72s are going to look good. 74s look really good too. Especially you can get them in good centered cards. They may sell well. I got a lot of 74s. That's because I had the one game, but I pulled the cards out of that. But a few of them cards were dinged up. But we got a lot of work to go through on some of these. Oh, here's some more cards I haven't. Just a lot of 74s that I'm going to take a look at. But this is Tim for 313. And we are collecting in the D. And it's good to thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time. We'll go through some more of these football cards. All right, everybody have a good evening. We'll see you later.